Welcome to the Aaron Tolson Entertainment and Variety Show. Today we have Danceworks Movement Design with director Tanya Bossy in the house. They're going to perform for us 5 times, give us great performances. You are going to love the show. I loved it already. I can't wait for you to see it. Today I'd like to welcome Miss Jenny McIntyre to the show. Jenny, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. So you've been dancing for a very long time.
Yes.
How old are you?
I am 18 right now.
Right now?
Right now.
At this very second?
At this very second.
And yet before you were 17?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Correct.
And you started dancing when you were how old?
2 years old.
Were you really dancing at 2 years old?
I was. My first recital was when I was 2 years old, yep.
And you must have been a star.
Oh yeah, for sure. From the beginning.
And so tell me, you go to Danceworks Movement Design.
Yes, I do.
And is that the only place you've danced or you've danced there the longest?
I started dancing at Kathy Blake Dance Studios, and then when Danceworks opened in 2014, I started with Danceworks.
Cool. And what is your role at the studio?
So basically, I've earned the nickname title of Tanya's life assistant.
Oh, very nice.
But so
and who's Tanya?
Tanya is the director.
Okay.
And so basically, I'm a company member. I'm the senior member on company.
What does that mean?
So I'm technically the company captain, but
What's the company?
the dance company is the performance company for competitions.
Very
yes.
good. Okay.
So we just do competitions, we compete, performances, and we're all just a tight-knit team. And so that's what my role there. And besides just taking classes also, I am working in the office, and I'm an on-call substitute and a teacher assistant.
Wow, that is a lot of stuff. When you say, so competitions, I understand. When you say performances, anything cool, any cool performances that you can talk about?
We've done a few small things like Wilton Summer Fest, little local things in Milford, like the Pumpkin Festival, things like that.
You weren't there this year?
No, we weren't.
I was looking for you this year.
No, we weren't. We weren't there this year.
Okay, cool. And you're in some clubs at school?
Yes, I'm a part of the National Honor Society, the Interact Club, which is a community service club.
Community service, very nice. What kind of community service have you done?
So we basically do a lot of like senior service day. So we'll go to various old people's house and rake their yards.
Oh,
and
you know I'm a little older, so
you're on the list.
Okay,
actually.
good. Okay, very good. I was worried you weren't coming. Okay, cool. So community service, that's amazing, and you do clubs. And tell me about you have some great ballet experience.
Yes, last June I actually left school a month early. I took my finals a month early.
Very nice.
And I studied at the collegiate level with American Ballet Theater in New York City. So I spent 3 weeks there and just got a lot of great ballet training.
Very nice. New York City for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a fun place. So you went to New York City for 3 weeks.
Yes.
You studied there for 3 weeks.
Right.
And college is coming.
Yes.
And you're going.
I am going back to New York City, and I'm going to St. John's University.
And you just found out today.
Yes, that you're going.
I went to St. John's University.
Too,
no, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I've been there. Been there. Very cool. What are you going to major in?
I'm majoring in business and also double majoring in psychology.
Double major. Is there a minor as well? Because that doesn't seem to be enough.
Not right now, but I'm sure one will be there at some point.
Very cool. Well, I would love to thank you for being on the show. You've been amazing.
Thank you.
I'm rolling. Oh,
I'd like to welcome Miss Tanya Bossy to the show, the director of Danceworks Movement and Design. Welcome, Tanya. How are you today?
Good. Thank you so much for having us.
You're very welcome. I'd like to know about your education first. Let's talk about where you went to school. Where did you go to school?
So I grew up in Temple, New Hampshire. And
Where's that?
It's a small, tiny little town right at the base of Temple Mountain. So in between Wilton and Peterborough, kind of.
Okay.
So I went to Conval High School, and I graduated there. I graduated early, and I went to college.
With a degree in?
So high school, I graduated early. I went to college in Maine, and then I transferred.
Maine where?
I was in Gorham at USM.
Okay.
Yep. And then I played soccer there for a semester, and then I transferred and went to the New Hampshire Institute of Art, where I graduated with a BFA.
Cool. BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Yep.
And what inspired you to open a dance business? Because there's nothing easy about that.
No, there's not. So I had been dancing after I transferred and I was done playing soccer. I decided to get back into dance because I hadn't done it for a while. So I started dancing again when I was 17. Kind of like Miss Liz, I took a lot of classes at conventions and workshops all over and dabbled, and I really fell in love with dancing again. So I was teaching at Kathy Blake Dance Studios for 10 years, and then I decided it was time to open my own studio.
What makes that moment happen? I hear this story a lot from a lot of people, but I want you to tell, because I mean, there's going to be enough people that will see this and will be like, I did that too, or I want to do that. So what was your turning point?
I feel like for me, I really love choreographing, and the work that I give my students in class, technically, I feel like is really geared towards supporting my choreography and preparing them to be adaptable to work with other guest choreographers. Okay. So I really liked the idea of having control over that process.
Interesting.
Bossy control.
You know, I was going to get to choreography later, but since you're talking about choreography, so that's your strong suit, you feel?
I think so. I really love creating things out of my brain and putting them on dancers and sort of letting them be imaginative and bring that into the work. And I love teaching the little ones too.
I'm standing in the field, my feet left off the ground. No one here will see me, no one will hurt me now.
Now, you said teaching things out of your brain. So everybody's choreographic process is different. So where does your inspiration come from? And then, not that you want to give away your process because you don't want anybody, but I mean, we all have our own people that choreograph. So I choreograph. I tap dance. Everybody knows that. But how do you come up with your ideas and how do you make things work?
So everybody that knows me really well will laugh because I'm famous, I guess, with my friends for dreaming up my choreography. So I'm a very vivid dreamer. So I will often just wake up in the dead of night and I'll have a whole piece thought up. And then the next day, we're doing that piece.
Okay.
And so when I think of pieces, I think them up in its entirety. And then I just go in and create it.
Okay.
I like to think of concepts first and music second. I'm usually driven by a concept to find a piece of music that's going to work, which is why I'm drawn to instrumental music and contemporary choreography, I think. But oftentimes I will hear a piece of music, particularly with jazz, that I just have to move to and choreograph.
So you say contemporary, and I know that's your favorite style, only from my notes about you. What makes that your favorite style? What is it about contemporary that moves you?
Well, I think I'm really drawn to not being boxed in by lyrics. I feel like with contemporary, I can really be my most imaginative self. I like to create crazy characters like witches and pterodactyls and dragons and fish. All sorts of sirens, evil mermaids, and I love creating characters and creating an atmosphere for the audience that sort of transports them to a different place.
Okay.
Now count backward from 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
What comes after 4?
2.
Keep concentrating. Just relax. Just concentrate and make your mind a blank. Okay, relax. Please take this seriously. Relax and have a good time.
3, you will awaken and remember nothing. You will have no memories of these trance feelings. None. You will not be upset by them. 1, 1. You are coming out. 2, 2. You are nearly conscious. 3.
I got a couple of tougher questions for you.
Okay.
And if they go terribly wrong, we'll cut it out.
I'm scared now.
No, don't be scared. You love dance competition. I know that about you. And the artistic side of dance, there's a lot of argument often that dance is not a sport, so therefore it shouldn't be a competition. Yet we train like athletes as dancers. So I understand the comparison of athlete. I also understand like, oh, it shouldn't be a sport because you don't get an award for being in a show. You get to be in a show. So what is it about competition that you really love? What don't you love about it? And let's start there.
Okay. So when I opened my studio, I knew that I wanted to be competitive, but I wanted to be conservatorially minded. So I train my dancers to be artists and technicians first, and the work that we bring to competition, we don't compromise our artistry. So I don't like when a trick is just thrown in just for, we're just going to do a trick here for no reason. That's something that I struggle with competitions, because I feel like a lot of it, you watch the same steps over and over again, and they don't relate to the music, or the costume doesn't relate to the dance or the music. So when I take my students to competition, I really focus on presenting work that is consistent with our philosophy and our artistry. So I think that's important. I like how competition pushes the kids. It definitely, especially because we live in a smaller area.
How does it push the kids?
Well, when we live in a smaller area, and I think having that big fish, little pond scenario. So when I take them to bigger conventions like Nouveau or any of the Break the Floors, ASH, all those ones, and even when we go to regional competitions locally in Concord, they get to see all these huge schools, and there's a lot of talent and there's a lot of dancers, and I think it really does help motivate them and also kind of keep them in check a little bit and make them want to keep working harder. So I think that's good. I think that's a nice push for them.
Okay. And you put a lot of weight on the awards that they get?
I wouldn't say that I put a lot of weight. if I'm going to compete, I want to win. So I think that having a competitive spirit is good. But there's been lots of times where we don't get the first place, but I felt so proud of the work that we presented.
Okay.
So in those cases, and I feel like my girls have a really strong sense of that. Like they know when they did a good job, and if they get beat that day, that's fine. We presented well.
How do you balance the studio, though, with the competition team to the recreational dancers?
That's been hard. I think mostly just because it takes a lot of time, and I'm only one human, and so that's a lot.
And it's your business, and you got to do everything.
And I have to do everything.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have my own daughter dancing now, so I'm also being thank you. I'll keep her. So I think I've been juggling being a dance mom and the director and the studio owner all this year, so that's been a lot. But having a recreational department or program is so important to me, and also having the company. So I just have been really trying to create schedules for the studio that can have both of those pathways and have opportunities for both. We have an intermediate company as well as an advanced company.
Oh, good. Okay.
So to sort of bridge the gap, some kids want the experience of being on a team and to dabble in competition, but they don't want to dance 10 or 15 hours a week. So it's an opportunity for them to be able to do less, but still have that experience too.
Very nice. Well, I wish you much success, and I hope your studio grows even more. I know you went from 40 to 150, and I hope that it's 350 by next year.
Yes, me
even
too.
more than that. All right, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure having you.
Hello, and welcome to this talented group of performers that I just got to see do their stuff, and it's pretty amazing. We are going to have a couple questions for you. First question I have, what are your names? All right. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Very casual here. If you want to answer, just let me know. Raise your hand. I'll hand you the mic. My first question is, what is an interesting story, something maybe funny that's happened to you while dancing, performing? Okay, we got Taker right here. Yeah.
So at this last rehearsal, we were performing Hypnosis, and I jumped off the chair and I ended up face planting, and it was pretty funny.
Now that sounds like it might have been funnier for other people, not so much for you, but I could be, yeah. How do you deal with that? How do you handle that if you're in the middle of a performance and something like that happens?
Usually you just have to like continue, because like it's like a performer's mantra, like always continue no matter what goes wrong.
So the show must go on, in other words, yeah. See, I only dance at weddings, so I don't have to worry about that. If I fall, it's for completely different reasons. It has nothing to do with training. So we got, who's the youngest here? Anybody, do you know offhand? You're the young, oh, Ashlyn. How old are you?
5.
5. When did you start dancing? Do you remember how old you were? No? Okay. Roughly, who started at a really, really young age? How old?
I started dancing when I was 2.
2. So that seems to be everybody just starts dancing at 2. Does somebody go around and recruit you when you're 2? Is that how it works? Or? Here's something I've always wondered, because you dance to kind of very artistic, expressionistic things. Is there something you dance to in your private life when you go home and you just want to jam out that people might be surprised? Anybody going home and like just listening, blasting Metallica and headbanging instead of doing like this type of dance? No, you all just listen to artistic expression. Yes, because you're all smarter than I am. And okay. All right, so it's just me then. Okay. Oh, what? Yes.
Well, we always dance to really artistic songs that usually you don't hear on the radio, but usually when I'm with my friends or at home, I listen to rap music.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of incorporating that into one of your performances? No? Okay, all right. Has dance taken you anywhere travel-wise, like really interesting, that you never would have got to go otherwise? I should just stand back here, right?
This past summer, I went to Florida for this thing called the Dance Awards, and I would have never been able to go to Florida for a whole week if I didn't do dance.
Now, did you get to actually enjoy Florida, do stuff other than just be there for dancing, or was it very strict?
Well, I danced pretty much the entire week, but we did stay in like a really nice hotel, so I got to enjoy like the pool and obviously the nice weather.
And continental breakfast, I would hope. Nice. Last question I have for you. Has anybody found that dance has helped you in other aspects of your life? Obviously, it takes a lot of concentration, effort, practice. You find that helps you in like school and other aspects of your life? Yeah.
So when I come to dance class, it's pretty much a stress reliever from like everything else going on in the rest of the world. You kind of just like focus on your dancing and you don't even have to worry about anything. So it's helped you get through a lot of like stress and anxiety over the years.
Anybody else?
I know that I listen to music in school, and usually I like to choreograph things in my head, and that just helps me get through the school day.
You don't get in trouble for listening to music in school?
No.
No. Because you hide it or because you're allowed to?
We're allowed to.
All right. Man, things were different when I was a kid. Get my Walkman taken away, and you guys don't know what a Walkman is, but it's kind of like an iPod, but it plays a giant cassette thing. They'll come back, though, and it'll be popular again, trust me. Well, I want to thank you all for being here and for letting us see what you can do. And as always, we have a great, talented group of people. So thank you very much for everything you do, and keep up the good work. And give yourselves a round of applause, please.
Don't wanna have feet of stone. I don't wanna have feet of stone. I wanna follow this river of life where it will have me go. I don't wanna have feet of stone. Don't